story time. But I'm going to share the story of how I got 15 people together to start a project, a platform basically, medical platform, and we all failed together. Today I'm going to share my story and you're going to listen.
Slow down with the greatness, gotta take time, pose out on a bait thing, on a date night, they try to imitate mine, that's a hate crime, bros.
Smileys was meant to be a medical platform that allows children to talk with kids too who have sickle cell anemia, and also let them talk to doctors, ask them questions, get tips. They would also have like a journal where they can document their journey. They can click yes or no if they've taken their routine medications, get reminder for their routine medications. Because like any other chronic illness, people with sickle cell anemia, they have like routine meds that they have to take continuously so they are alive and active. So that was basically meant to be it. And now the whole point of the communication between kids to kids was because it's just like, kind of think about it. If you have a car and you're complaining about fuel, the only person who would understand your pain about fuel prices is someone who also has a car. You get? So in as much as parents, guardians, and people like to, sympathize with children with sickle cell anemia, they would never really understand their pain as much as someone who is going through the pain with them. That was basically the whole point behind Smileys. And then I was a front-end developer, okay? Basically just knew HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I founded the community Dexterity. If you're in this channel, I don't know about Dexterity. I don't even know. Join the community, by the way. So I got a bunch of devs from Dexterity. Like, hey, would you guys like to join Smileys? It's going to be an amazing project. Blah blah blah. Change the world. And they were interested. So we got together and we started this project. It was crazy. I also had designers on board. Basically, what I did, a mistake I made while starting Smileys was putting out a public message and like, oh, if you're interested in joining Smileys, just come. We came together, we're working on Smileys, the vibes, we do everything, I was acting as the product manager for that role. That was my first product management kind of setting, I guess. But I have never been a product manager in my life. I was a front-end developer. We grinded for a few weeks. Okay, we did a lot of user research, looked at websites, looked at a whole lot of things that could work for the platform. Did a lot of, that is what, check and balance, plus and minus. And then we had all the features ready, all the documentation ready. Everything was like ready. Prepared the user flow, and there was no active designer there. I was also a UI UX designer, so I was given the honorary task of designing the user interface for Smileys. Yeah, we had review sessions with the team. It was towards the end of 2024. All this together, and then the devs. What I noticed is that we started phasing small. And then the beginning of 2025, okay, that's this year, I decided that I should collab with the hospital so that we can get user research from doctors there who actually work in the hospital. Funny enough, when we're conducting our user research, the user research form we used a Google form. By the way, it was just me and ChatGPT that was managing this entire project. We used a Google form. Guess how many doctors filled this Google form to help their user research for this medical app? Guess. One. Till now, one. And we split the team. We're like, we'll do this. We were so excited at first. Got one, and then for the kids with sickle cell anemia, they were about 20. And funny enough, that survey actually went wide across Africa mainly, because sickle cell anemia is a disease that dwells primarily within Africa. So we got a lot of responses from kids in Africa, and it was just, whenever I read them, they were just heart touching. Let me use that word. It was always a reminder of why we're building this product. So one of the major setbacks we had was that doing this, we had an issue with the hospital, or rather, I had an issue with the hospital. You know, the thing with startups is that, or like anything you're starting, you're going to be wearing multiple hats, especially if you're the founder. If you're like the pioneer of the idea, you should know by default that you're going to wear multiple hats. You're going to be doing multiple roles, like multiple jobs at a time. That is what you're going to be doing. And it was just something quite new, the experience, the setting. But because I'm already a person who is multifaceted, you know, in creativity, so it was like an easy blend for me. Even though at some times I felt very overwhelmed. Back to the hospital, I had the documents, you know, I prepared these documents that were meant to give the hospital so that they would approve us. So now this is how the story went. The hospital is in my school, my university. I remember going there and I wanted to meet a doctor and just meet the doctor and explain to the doctor what was going on. So I knocked at the door. The initial doctor I wanted to meet, he was not there. So the door like opposite that, okay? This was like a cool Monday morning. The door opposite that, I knocked, and then the doctor, he was like open, and I opened the door and I walked in. After I walked in, the office was very cool, really typical doctor's office. And then he looked at me slowly. He was a kind of chubby, dark guy. Let's just call him Dr. Alex, okay? I'm not going to release his actual name. Let's call him Dr. Alex. Dr. Alex was like, "Hi, who are you? What are you here for?" And I told him, "Hi, I'm Destiny." And I swear that was the intro I used. And I just told him about Smileys and what it's meant to be for. And then he said, "You're in what department?" I said, "I'm computer science. I mean, blah, 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 blah." Then he asked me that I should prepare a letter for the director of the hospital. Okay, I'm going to prepare the letter for the director of the hospital. I was so excited. And I went to do the letter. The next day, I came with the letter. I was sat down at the waiting area, waited for him for 2 hours basically. Knocked at the door, he opened because he's obviously attending to patients. So you don't want a situation where instead of someone who has like an serious ailment and then there's you who wants to build an app. So it's like, who should he focus on more? You feel me? So that happened, and then I waited for him. Door opened. I went inside. I showed him the letter. I bought an envelope, put it in an envelope and everything, packaged it in school, on campus. And then I showed him this. Guess what he did? He picked up a pen and he started cancelling what I wrote. The like address in the letter, he circled it, put a huge X on it. The name, he like so much that the paper tore. This was something that I printed 2 copies of, put in an envelope. So much that the paper tore. Wrote, I wish I could show like gosh, I wish I had a picture of this. Mutilated that letter like this. And I felt very, very hot. And then he told me I should change this, I should find out how to write a letter. I left his office. When I skipped class that day, I skipped a very important class. I went back, you know, left his office, and I was on my phone. My laptop was not with me then in school, so I used WPS Office, you know, created a new document. After creating new documents, prepped everything, okay, and I sent it and I printed it again, gave it to him. He told me that he's going to give it to the director, and the director is going to help me do everything. I'm like, okay, amazing. All we wanted to do was permission to share forms for people to fill to help with our user research. 1, 2, to get doctors for the platform. But this man made it so hard for me. He made it so hard for me. And then I came the next day. Not like the next, this was like a few days after, probably like the next week or something. And then I saw the paper conveniently lying on his table, the exact place I left it. He hasn't touched it. Then I asked him, "Sir, the letter, what we saying? 6, 7." And he was like, I should stand up and give it to the secretary. Like, okay. I had to find my way around the 5-story hospital. Was it 5 or 4 stories? Can't really remember. And then I gave it to the secretary. The secretary asked me so much questions. I was like, oh, it's from Dr. Alex, blah blah blah. She read the letter, and then I came to his office like a month after. No, sorry, not a month, a week after. And then after I came there, he said it has not been approved. Okay, it has not been approved. That's fine. But then I fell sick. Yeah, I fell sick for like a week, and I had to like stay indoors. I didn't come out. So I was taking medications, shots in the ass, yes, and it hurt so much, but it's just a phase. And I remember calling my HOD and telling him, sir, I'm not feeling so strong, I'm not going to be able to come. And my mom also called him, contacted people. It was like, okay, so everything could be balanced. And then after 2 weeks of no school, and I came back to school, all I wanted to do was just catch up, lectures and everything else. After coming in, okay, I'm going to catch up now. I met him a week after, like, catching up and everything relaxed. So this was like within 3 to 4 weeks, this period of me falling sick, catching up with school, everything. And then when I met him, he told me that it has still not been approved. And I said, like, oh, is there anything I can do to fast track the process? Because it's been 3 weeks. And then he was like, I'm lazy. This man called me lazy. And I had to, that was very, very sad. I was very sad because it was something I was passionate about. And I felt so heartbroken that someone who is meant to be a doctor, who is meant to help you with this, made it so hard for me. And this just felt so strange because you expect doctors and people to be happy about stuff like this, Oh, he's building a platform to help kids with sickle cell. Wow! You feel me? But that was just not the response I got. And everyone else that I told about this idea, they were so excited. I remember I met someone at a tech event and I told her about the idea. And she was like, oh, Destiny, you should not give up on this. This is going to work so much. I remember telling my mom, and my mom was like, oh, son, she calls me son. Not like son, but son. Like, oh, Destiny, this is going to work out fine. I believe in you, blah, 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 blah. Even people in the team, this was a volunteer-based team. We're not paying them, but they were ready for this, And then after that whole thing happened, I just felt discouraged. And while that was happening, this was around like February, March, and we started building this product October. So people have started losing interest because I was the only one going to get this documentation ready. And something else for the platform, we needed to verify that the doctors on the platform were actually doctors. So we needed access to the medical, like some sort of medical database of approved doctors and their licenses. So we could not get that as well because I didn't even know how to go about it basically. So I just like tapped out on everything, and people were like dropping out, leaving the group. People were losing interest, messaging me, just stop talking to me, and I was like, I just felt so discouraged that I didn't know what to do because this is my first time building a product. I've never done this before, and I'm facing so many issues, hiccup upon hiccup upon hiccup upon hiccup upon hiccup, and it just felt very, very hard. But the thing is that I'm happy I started that project. And I'm happy I failed. Yeah, I'm happy I started and I'm happy I failed because from doing that, I learned very, very, very vital and important things about building a product. That same year, I'm saying that same year as it was something big. This year, after realizing how Smileys was a failure, I took a lot of retrospective, retrospect to to look, and I decided that something that I liked was that one, I was able to rally a group of people together, a group of strangers who I've never met before, made them fall in love with an idea, even if it's just for the beginning, but it was nice. It was nice. I remember waking up, at 12 a.m. I'm saying too much. I remember waking up at 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and just working on designs or stuff for Smileys publicity. It felt so good. But there were so many downsides as well that I don't want to overlook. But it was nice. The rush of failure, the excitement that comes with knowing that if you start this thing you might lose it all. Like, it's one of the things that it's crazy when I see people who have an amazing idea but they don't want to pursue it. The world we live in today, you can do anything for free. No one is going to charge you shishi. AI is there, free tools are there. AI is just going to be getting more free and more free and more free. Like, the tools for creativity are expanding rapidly on a daily basis. Fail fast. Fail. Do that thing that you're scared of, bro. Like, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? I learned so much, and because of that retrospective look and my love for the whole building process, I decided to take a course on product management, which I passed. Yeah, I know. I took another course on project management, PMP, project management professional exam. I did not pass. That's a story for another day. And I am currently learning product management again with a scholarship I got at a foundation, and it's something that I love doing. And while learning this, in my learning process, as I'm improving as a product manager, I'm realizing so many things that I did wrong while building Smileys. So many things that could have been better but wasn't. And my like is just developing. And if I were to start Smileys again from scratch, I would know exactly what to do, exactly how to do it, and like exactly. Basically, it was fun. It was fun. It felt nice. I feel like I might add a counter to this video because I've said so many times. But it was so fun. If you feel like doing something, do it despite the fear of failure. Failure is just life's way of teaching you. See, life is not going to hold your hand and tell you this is the right thing to do. No. It's going to let you fail, and it's up to you to interpret that failure, to learn what you want from that failure. You understand? So fail fast. Spend your entire account balance on an idea. Thank you very much for watching, and this was just a quickie. Yeah.